Every January near Wilcox, there's a fantastic festival where birders and photographers alike gather to witness thousands of sandhill cranes return to their winter range.
When you're out there in the middle of nowhere and it's dark and you can hear them at a distance, it kind of gives you a little bit of peace and makes you realize that there's a lot of beauty out there if we just stop and look at it.
Oh, it was so exciting. The sun was coming up and the moon was still in the sky, and they just started coming in wave after wave.
Well, I thought it was pretty spectacular. Come in with the sunshine on, the kind of a golden yellowish color, and it's really beautiful.
They're quite dramatic when you watch them fly across the sky here in Wilcox, and you can also hear them. They have a real wonderful trumpeting call.
Wow. Well, I've actually been coming down to the wings over Wilcox. I think this is 5 or 6 years that I've done this. I just didn't know there was sandhill cranes in Arizona, and I thought it was a pretty good opportunity to come find out where they were and see them.
My wife's very much into birds. We've been here 3 years ago where we read about the swings over Wilcox, and the fact that there's over 20,000 cranes here amazed us initially. I didn't even know there were cranes in Arizona.
This is a great opportunity for people to see just hundreds of thousands of them in a flock together, and to hear that sound.
The noise that they make when they all fly over in mass like that is just awesome.
One of the really fascinating things about crane behavior is their migration. They migrate thousands of miles. Actually, some of the sandhill cranes that are wintering here in Wilcox may breed in Russia.
This is when I like to shoot the birds actually flying, because you get that little kiss of light on them and it's just so much prettier.
Because I really like the birds, I've been going to different crane shows, and I seem to be migrating with them from here to New Mexico, to Colorado, to Nebraska.
Cranes are very special creatures in the bird world. They've been revered throughout many different cultures.
The crane is a very strong bird when it comes to the animal spirit world.
13 years ago, I became interested in the cranes.
I've been traveling the world with the book, and all the crane festivals, we have one thing in common, the love of this bird.
This is an edition of 18. I'm moved by their grace and their beauty and the call, which doesn't sound like anything else on earth. It's from some distant time in the past that's just touches me.
They've been here in the valley for several decades and probably have been coming here for several eons.
For birders, this is just an incredibly rich and diverse valley. Not only the cranes, but sparrows and the raptors, just a wonderful place for raptors. It's very diverse. Come for the cranes, but see everything else.
This bird has an extra little hook. When you go out in the field to take some of the tours at an event like this, can you guys all see that extra hook on there? You get to look at birds in binoculars and you get to see them, but you don't get to see the entire structure unless you see them up close and personal like what we've provided with this. This one, as you can see, is missing the outer portion, or what we call the primary part of its right wing.
I really am grateful that Game and Fish has brought down the live animal displays.
Does anyone have a question?
That's one new thing, and it really helps give children a real interest in what's out there.
And you'll see them flying out over the fields.
I've always been interested in birds since I was a child. I did my doctorate at Cornell University on the comparative behavior of cranes. And at Cornell University, I met a gentleman from Wisconsin, Ronald Sowie, and we decided to establish the International Crane Foundation as a private organization dedicated to the conservation of the world's 15 species of cranes.
First time I saw a crane, I just started a new job, and the only time I could take vacation was in March. So I thought, what's all this hoopla about in Nebraska? Went out and just fell in love with the cranes. the way they dance, the cry of the crane, just everything about these wonderful prehistoric birds I fell in love with.
The sandhill cranes themselves are considered one of the oldest living fossils, so to speak. They're pretty much identical to what they have been in the fossil record over the past several, probably hundreds of thousands of years.
They're an impressive bird. They really are.
They're big.
They're easy to find.
Birding, you get to see things. You might not see that many, but you at least see something. But sometimes you go out for some of these other animals, you don't see anything.
I think the reason that more people are interested in birding is partly because of education, that there are excellent field guides available.
It's quite well known that birding is a very good economic impact to all sorts of communities around the United States and probably around the world.
It's a serious economic deal for me. I'm an artist, and to make a living as an artist is not an easy thing.
This is the fastest growing sport right now, and I think it's because we're centering back on family and children time. Plus also it's the fastest growing sport for women right now. 52% of birders are women.
I would see a bird, I had to know what it was. I wasn't satisfied to just know it was a bird. And I have a great field guide. It's always with me.
I think if you have an appreciation for the land and the environment, to see so many creatures, you know, free and thriving is a great feeling, and you always want to hope that it'll always be like that and to preserve the land.
Birds, beyond the fact that just watching them and enjoying them for their beauty, their natural beauty, their colors, their behaviors, they're an important reflection on what's happening in the world environmentally overall.
The cranes are sort of ambassadors of the environment, our very fragile environment.
I feel like they're a gift. They're here. So many people don't even see them, and, you know, I see them and I want to know what they are, what they're up to. I have a curiosity.